Mod Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about the Orville, New Horizons, Season 3, Episode 6, and my thoughts on this episode. It was a great episode, but the ending for me was pretty harsh. I mean, to do that to him, wow, and the reaction to it was actually very surprising. But this episode has shown again one more thing. Seth MacFarlane will not go fully woke with this show. Actually, I'll just say this. I don't think he'll go woke. Ever. Because this episode, my God, there was a lot of chances for woke crap to come in, politics to come in. I mean, where they were, what time period. I mean, damn. There was all the chances. I mean, I was worried to fuck through the episodes like, we're in this century. This shit's happening. Could they involve this? And I'm just going to say, how the fuck can Seth MacFarlane do in one episode Picard couldn't do in a fucking series? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this episode was 10 times better than the whole entire Picard series. It respected what it was doing. It didn't go fucking nuts in politics. It was just there to show you something that was bad and something that had to be done. I mean, nothing, no way did he overstep the mark. Was there a stupid sentence in here? Yes, it was about animals, and I kind of think, kind of ridiculous. But you know what? It's not that, I'm not bothered about it. I mean, yes, it's ridiculous, but I'm fine with it. And a character turned out to be gay. Couldn't give a shit. That person's gay? Fine. And again, I'm not going to call a show woke because it has a gay person in it. No, that's never what we've talked about. Listen, you want to put gay people in your show? Fine! That's fucking fine! Who gives a shit? I mean, what the fuck? People seem to think if you hate a show, you hate it because it's gay. I mean, no. No! This character is a great character. The fact that they're gay means nothing. The fact that it's a good character is what matters. And that's what's the difference between Orville and Star Trek. You know, Seth MacFarlane makes you love the character and actually puts a decent storyline in there. Star Trek, they just say, like this character because it's gay, like this character because it's black, like this character because it's this or that. No, you do not make characters like that. You make us want to love them, not want to kill them. Because, fucking Star Trek. Again, listen, Strange New Worlds, I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's an improvement of what we've been getting, but there's a long way to go with that show. With the Orville, there's only up. There's only ever up with this show. There's never a down. And that's what I love about it. It's fun to watch. This episode is just purely fun, and it's really harsh at the end. And it's like, would you do that to your friend? Would you do that to them? There's so much important stuff, and the reason they had to do it was so clear, but would you do that to the person? I mean, it's a great episode, and again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And I know some people, because I've had some in my comments, they miss the humour, they miss, you know what this show used to be, but again, I'm telling you, Seth MacFarlane is not doing Family Guy. I know the comedy is a bit, there's a lot of it missing, and I do hope Seth kind of goes back to a little bit of it, but that's not what Seth MacFarlane made this show for, okay? He wanted to make a Star Trek show. This is the Star Trek show. He's done it. This show is excellent. There was a fucking great battle scene in this episode. And again, we've only had 6 episodes, and we've had a shitload of battles. In Star Trek, we only had, 2 or 3? Utterly ridiculous, man. But again, Seth MacFarlane knows what he wants. He knows what the fucking fans want. Again, if you call this show woke because of one fucking thing, you're an idiot. It's a great show. That's it. There's nothing really woke. Is there some little things like last week's episode? Yes, you could say that's woke, and I agree that some of it was, but it was still entertaining. It still mattered, and you know what? It was fun to watch. That's the difference here. One show is fun to watch, the other show wants to hit you over the head with politics. But again, I'm giving this episode, I gotta give it a 10. I have to give it a 10. I think this is one of my favourite episodes. I'm definitely watching it again because it's everything's there, man. It's entertaining. It's goddamn depressing at the end at some point. And I fucking love it because it does what Star Trek used to do. It challenges you. It gives you a dilemma. And it fixes it the right way. If this was a Star Trek episode, this all would have been like Happy and Larry and shit. But, I mean, again, we've already seen this fucking episode in Star Trek. We saw it with Picard. And that's how much of a shitstorm that was. Seth MacFarlane did it right. And that's what I fucking think just makes it different. It's just, he respects what he's writing. The Star Trek writers don't. Alright, that's the end of my non-spoiler review. It's 10 out of 10. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the episode starts off with Gordon having a party in his quarters, playing that song from Lasting Impressions. That was a great song. I like it because, listen, the guy who's playing Gordon, he's got a great voice. I'll give it to him. He's pretty good. And so he's having a party and everybody's there and they're all enjoying themselves. We also see Burke, who's also there, and Isaac is so desperate to try and fix the relationship between them. And in this episode, we do find out something about her, and it really does make sense now. I mean, again, I kind of thought she was, but I mean, for them to confirm it, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, she's hot as hell, but hey, freedom, do what the hell you want. God damn Irish. Anyway, let's not do the pervy crap. So, Isaac is trying to fix the relationship, but she's not having it because she still hates him. And, well, Lamar comes over and tells him, listen, you can't fix something that quick. She's just going to have to hate you for a little bit longer. And at this point, I kind of thought, wouldn't it be a great episode if you kind of had them stuck together where they could kind of hash it out? Because, again, their scenes together have literally always been kind of her just insulting him. And I kind of wanted Isaac to kind of, you know, go in there and question her and just find out why she hates him. Because it was more than just losing a friend. Because, again, a lot of people lost friends on the Orville ship. And they've managed to forgive Isaac. She hasn't. So there must be something more. So, about what this episode is really about. Time travel. So, the machine from the first episode, the first ever episode of the Orville, with the time dilator device, they still have it on the Orville. They've been fixing it and trying to sort it out, and, well, they've done it. And now they have a time travel device. Something that's so dangerous that when Ed tells the Federation, not Federation, wrong place. The Union, the Admiral tells them, listen, you've got to take it to one of our secret laboratories. It needs to be kept there safe so nobody can get to it, not the Kalon or the Krill. So they want to get this time machine somewhere safe. So the Orville's sent off, and the Admiral also sends an additional fleet to escort them to the facility. So whilst they're in the fleet, the fleet catches up to them, and they head off to the facility. When they get there, it's been completely wiped out by somebody. And it turns out that it was wiped out by the Kalon because they arrive in a heavy fleet. And what I love about this battle scene is they still haven't, you know, shown that the Union is capable of handling the Kalon. I mean, the Kalon still rip through them like there's nothing. And isn't that so different to fucking Star Trek? Because it's just, like, they show you a battle. They show you a battle and they don't go nuts. It's about 6 or 7 Kalon ships to about 10 Union ships. It's not insane. It's not so many ships that it's ridiculous. It's just what Star Trek used to do. Just a couple of ships to have a little battle. Because, I mean, again, Strange New Worlds episode, ridiculous number of ships. Again, because you make something bigger does not make it better. That's what she said. Boom. But still, just because you put so many ships on a fucking screen doesn't make that terrifying. It makes it pretty ridiculous. Again, Seth MacFarlane knows what he's doing with Space Battles. a couple of ships. Yes, was there a lot of ships in the first ever battle between the Kaylon and the Union? Of course, it was an invasion fleet. But you don't need to do it every fucking time. And that's what Star Trek does. And it's just ridiculous. Anyway, we go for the credits and then we see the fight. Again, Union getting its ass kicked. And the Kaylon pretty much tell the Orville to hand over the time machine. And they refuse and they are attacked. And then they get... not hyper beamed. What is it called? Tractor beamed by one of the Kaylon ships. And Isaac tells them that they can't escape unless they override the quantum drive. Or blow it up anyway. But Ed tells Tala to go destroy the time machine so the Kaylon don't get it. But she gets knocked out from a Kaylon disruptor that hits the ship. So Gordon runs down to destroy the time machine. So he runs down, he grabs a pistol and heads down to the laboratory. He gets there, Lamar activates the quantum drive to overload it, and when it overloads, when Gordon's about to fire at the time machine device, he gets pushed by the force of the quantum drive and then disappears. It turns out that when the quantum drive is reactivated, it sent him back in time. But the Orville is still in battle. They managed to escape. I don't know if the Asian Admiral, if she survived. I mean, a lot of the Union ships got destroyed. I don't know if she did. I probably think she escaped, but it's kind of wondered. I kind of wish we kind of found out about that in the episode, but we don't. But I can leave it. I can leave it. So, they find somewhere to hide from the Kaylon. Once they do that, they try to figure out what happened to Gordon. And Lamar pretty much tells them, yeah, Gordon might have gone back in time. And they then receive a signal from 2015. And it's Gordon telling them that he needs help because he's now trapped in the past. And then we find out what Gordon was doing there. He was a pilot, he had a family, and he died aged 96 in 2063. I think the time's right. So they figure they know they have to go back in time, so they use a time traveling device to go back to 2015. So when they do that, the ship unfortunately gets there a little too late, not early, late, and they arrive in 2025. Now, when I found out the time, I got very worried. Again, 2025, there's an election, I think, in 2024. Could we see some political bullshit here? Again, so I'm saying, this was the perfect episode to do it. It was an open goal. Just let the fucking political bullshit come in. Didn't happen. Nowhere. Again, there is one stupid sentence, but it's not bad. And I kind of agree with it in certain ways. Again, I'm not a fucking crazy leftist, but I do agree with it. But anyway, so they get there too late, and when they go to try to find Gordon, Lamar has to tell them, yeah, we need more fuel or some sort of ore because the quantum drive cannot function without it, and they have to go to Earth as well to get that so that they can time travel back to the future. Sorry, back to the future. And, Ed says, okay, Isaac and Burke will go and look for the ore that they have to get. Sorry. And Ed and Kelly will look for Gordon. So they take a shuttle with a cloak and they head down to Earth. When they get there, they land in some secluded area and look for Gordon whilst Burke and Isaac look for the ore. Now, I want to do the Isaac and Burke stuff first because it is good, but the more important story is Ed and Kelly. So let's just focus on Isaac right now. So Isaac and Burke head off to look for the ore. Whilst they're walking to find it, they come across a biker gang. She flirts with a biker and tries to get him to let them borrow his bike and his friend's bike. So she challenges them to a Oh my god, what the hell is it called? Arm wrestle. So an arm wrestle. Well, Isaac, because Isaac, again, I forgot to mention, Isaac is on the planet and he's in disguise. So the guy who's playing Isaac gets a full face reveal and all that stuff. I know he's had a face reveal. I know that. Just saying, he gets more of a screen time with his own face in this episode than I've seen in a very long time. Anyway, so Isaac looks like a human, and he kind of looks like a bit of a dork. So the bikers think they can take him. Burke tells them, pick your strongest guy, and Isaac will beat him. And if he does, we take your bikes. If he doesn't, you get to do what the fuck you want to her. Which is basically what she said. And I know someone says, well, she didn't say that. It's like, come on. You knew what she was saying there. You know what she was saying. Anyway, so obviously Isaac wins. They grab the bikes and they head off and find a house for sale sign. And Burke has to pretend to be Isaac's girlfriend. And they want to buy the house. So then get down in the cellar and start digging for the ore. So they plant the device to dig for the ore. And then we have the conversation between Isaac and Burke. And Isaac says, thank you for saving my life. You didn't have to. And she says, you don't need to mention it because I only did it because it was my duty. And then she tells a story about a friend. It turns out Burke is gay or a lesbian. And she loved the person that died, and she never got to tell her that she loved her, so she never knew if she loved her back. And she blames Isaac for this and what he took away from her. And it's kind of a very emotional scene. And again, just because a gay person is in a show doesn't mean I'm going to hate it. Again, what's wrong with being gay? Nothing. Who gives a fuck? Live and let fucking live. Who gives a shit? Hating a character because it's shit doesn't mean you hate the character because it's gay. Ugh. Or black, or fucking whatever. Again, the problem with Star Trek is their characters are shit. Not because they got not because they got this or that. No, because they're shitly written, okay? With Seth MacFarlane, he writes these characters great. Burke, I like the fucking character, but I still don't like her. I love the fact I don't like her. I love the fact, I hate the fact she doesn't give Isaac a chance. But I get it, I get it. I get it more now that she says why she's so pissed. You took away the love of my life. For God's sake, I can't ever forgive you for that. You will never be able to bring her back to me. That's emotional, and it's great and fantastically written. That's the difference. Dumbass SJWs. You don't have to just say, she's gay, we gotta love her because she's gay. Oh my God, we can't say bullshit about her. Never knew she was gay for at least 6 episodes. He never hyped it. He never went crazy. Again, perfect time to have her come out was in Pride Month. Did Seth MacFarlane do that? Nope. He actually just did it when he wanted to. Isn't that fucking shocking? Isn't that fucking shocking? He didn't try to do anything with this fucking character. He didn't try to make this character more important than she is. He didn't try to make her the focus of attention. No, she's the focus of attention when she needs to be. And the fact she's gay has nothing to do with a fucking character. She's a smart woman who fucking, hates Isaac. I fucking like that. Again, everything you need to do for a character. The fact she's gay has nothing to do with the fucking character. Who cares? She likes women. Me and her could probably chat about that. Again, it's not a problem. But SJWs will always say, well, you don't like a character because he's gay. No, I don't like a character because it's shit. And Burke is not shit. Okay, my rant is over. So Isaac still says thank you, and, they get the ore from the planet, and they both leave, and you get a joke about them breaking up to the real estate agent. And by the way, I'll point out this one thing. It was funny to see, the fact that a lot of there's a for sale sign in California, and I have a friend who lives in California who's British and telling me that everybody's leaving California. It's kind of funny, that, isn't it? The SJW utopia and everybody's trying to flee it. But hey, I'm not political, but you make your own fucking assumptions about that shit. Sorry, I know, no politics, sorry. Anyway, so that's the end of their story. So they get the ore and the ship's ready to go back into the future. So, the real story now, which is Kelly and Ed finding Gordon. like Finding Nemo. So, sorry. Anyway, so they figure out where they figure out what Gordon is. He's a pilot for a company. I mean, they did find that out ages ago, you know. They figure out where he is. Gordon is a pilot, and they find him. And when they get there, he's so surprised that they're there because it's been 10 years. And they tell him he has to come back with them to the Orville. But he tells them, you have to come with me because I have to show you something first. And we all knew what we were gonna find. Well, we all knew he was going to have a family. We all knew that, listen, he went back in time and he found a girl. I completely forgot the girl's name, but I'm just going to call her Past Girl. So, Past Girl, you know, from the singing club, he found her, he fell in love with her, and he had a family with her. And I will give the episode one bad criticism. I think Ed and Kelly should have been a lot more pissed off about the family. Even in front of the kids. I know when Gordon introduces them, Ed and Kelly don't know what to do or say, but I would have preferred it if Ed went, what the fuck you doing, you idiot? And they should have had a screaming match. I know they did that later, but I just think this scene would have been a lot better if you just had Ed being angry and pissed off because he's gone against the Prime Directive, you know, the time quantum laws, and he's gone against it, and I just think he should have been a lot more pissed off. So they have a dinner with the family, Ed and Kelly. He explains to them how they met, and you know, it's pretty much the same basic story from, you know, what's it called? Lasting Impressions. You know, she sang, he loved her singing, they did stuff, blah 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 blah. Don't need to go into that. But he has a son and he has a kid on the way, and he has a family, and Ed is like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? Like, what the hell are you doing? And we get the story about Gordon in the past and how he hates and how he tried so much to stick to the rules, and, you know, it was hard for him to, you know, just stay in the wilderness on his own. Like, if he's going to be stuck there for the rest of his life, he can't just not do anything. But Ed has to tell him about, you know, the temporal directive, and you shouldn't have done any of this, and he just says, fuck the rules, I don't care, I love her. And we do get an SJW thing here, and I'm not going to say it's a massive thing, but and apparently the Orville's time period, killing animals is the same as murdering a person. Now again, I am not a vegan, I am not a vegetarian, I eat meat and all that shit. I do think one day I probably will become a vegetarian. I won't go the whole fucking way, but, you know, I do kind of want to give up meat. It would be more healthier for me. I'm not going to force anybody else to. I'm not going to turn into one of those really crazy people. I'm just doing it for myself, health-wise. And, you know, I do see cows, and I do kind of feel guilty about it. So, again, I'm not saying, you know, that's completely bad, but, I mean, which animals are you picking? If I step on an ant, am I going to prison for murder? I mean, because Gordon says if he had to kill a bunch of animals to survive, and if this was in Orville's time, he would be done for murder. So I just think it was kind of a stupid thing to say. It really didn't need to be said, but I'm fine with it. It's a small thing. I can deal with it. But it does sound stupid. I mean, again, what counts as animal? If I kill a bug, do I kill a fly? Do I go to prison? You do kind of have to bring up that stuff. Anyway, so Gordon refuses to leave. Ed tells him, you can't stay here. You're breaking the time directive, and if you stay here, you're going to destroy the Union, possibly. So Ed tries to convince him to come back. He refuses, and, well, Ed and Kelly have to leave and figure out what they're going to do about Gordon. If he stays there, he's breaking the time directive, and if they leave him, they're breaking the time directive. So they're stuck in a hard place. Now, I thought, why not bring the entire family with them to the future? You know, he gets to have his wife and his family back in his time, and he gets to have a life with them. But she's important to that time period. Like, we don't know what she did. We don't know what her descendants do. It breaks too many rules, and so Ed comes back. Oh, I don't know if I should mention this scene. This is going to be a quick fucking summary of this scene. Lamar and Teller apparently fancy the fuck out of each other and have sex in engineering. I just felt like mentioning that. Teller is fucking hot. I got to give it to Lamar. I would have done it. But, you know, there you go. But yeah, they had a scene. Teller was apparently giving him a massage. He loved it. Then he got turned on. Then he fucked. Then they kissed. That was the whole scene. I just thought I'd mention it. Anyway, so Ed goes back down to the planet Earth with not back down. Sorry, Ed and Kelly go back to the house with Teller, and it's pretty much Gordon knows the game's up, and he threatens to shoot them with his pistol, and because he doesn't want to lose his family, he says to them, why can't they take them back to Earth, back to the time, and they're like, we can't do that, this is wrong, we can't let you live here, you'll break too many rules. And Ed knows he can't grab Gordon, because Gordon will just never leave his family. So Ed says something that I think is pretty fucking evil, but I get why he has to do it. And God, this was an emotional scene, man. He says, "Fine, you can stay here, but we're gonna go back in time and grab you from the past." I just wow, so his family will never be born and he'll never exist, and it's just. I would be pissed if that was me. I would have shot Ed right there and then. I would have done anything to protect my family. And Gordon would have done the same, but he loves Ed too much. He loves Kelly and Teller too much to do that to them, even for his family. And that's such an emotional scene I really loved. And then kind of seeing the realization on Gordon's face about he can't do anything to stop them. He is going to lose his family, and just seeing his wife's face, and bloody hell, that was rough. He knows he can't do anything, and wow. So Ed gets back to the Orville. The Orville goes back in time earlier to find Gordon. They do. Gordon gets back onto the ship, but with this latest time travel, it destroys the time travel device, the time machine. So they can't go back in time. They can't go back to the future. I keep saying it, I love saying it. They can't go back to the future. So Lamar comes out with an idea that I actually liked, which was, well, we can't go back in time using a time machine. Why don't we use the quantum drive? Because the quantum drive has shields, because, Isaac Newton said, when you bend time around, listen, I'm not a bloody scientist, it's about time and bending, and that's all. And Lamar says if they turn off the shielding device to the quantum drive, they will go forward in time if they speed up enough. So they do. They go forward, they go back to the future using the quantum drive, and they get back to Earth, and everything's back to normal. And when Ed and Kelly tell Gordon about what they did, I'm pretty shocked at his reaction to it. He blames himself and says, what am I doing? How can I put so many people's lives at risk? And I wouldn't have reacted that way. I get it. He's more evolved than me. He's from the future and they care more about other people than themselves. I get it. But Gordon really loved her. And to find out he had a family with her and he doesn't have any resentment from it. He doesn't hate Ed, doesn't hate Kelly. I'm pretty surprised about that. And again, perfectly fair. It's absolutely alright. And, again, they're from the future. Maybe this is just how they deal with it. But you lost your family, dude. You lost your entire family. And I was just wow. But Seth MacFarlane didn't pussy out. He didn't have to have a good ending. He didn't try to be oh yeah, everything's good and no consequences for anything. No, there was consequences. Ed feels like shit for doing this to Gordon, and that's it. And that's the end of the episode. 10 out of 10. Fucking great episode. I loved it. Again, I have no fear. I know I said it every episode, but again, I'm still always going to worry that Seth MacFarlane is going to turn this show into a woke pile of shit. I am going to worry, because again, he is leftist. He is leftist, but I don't think he's just an insane one who needs to put it in his product. And I know he respects the fans. So, I know I shouldn't be worried. I know it's all going to be good, but I'm still going to worry. But this episode, it was the easiest episode to politicize. Easiest. We've seen, Picard do the exact thing that Seth MacFarlane didn't do. So, all the credit in the world to Seth MacFarlane. He did a fantastic job with this episode. I'm so fucking thrilled. It's a great episode. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a great. Support this show because it is the only Star Trek we have. Maybe for the moment, but since the last episode of Strange New Worlds, I mean, maybe it will be the only one for the moment. That's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. If you like my content, do think of subscribing. Entertainment World Soldier. Bye.